Today I'm going to share with you how I'm going to can some chicken broth. I'm going to try to share with you a step-by-step way how you can make chicken broth that's really easy, very frugal, and it can last you all winter long or all summer long. I realized that I don't have that much chicken broth, and I thought, well, why don't I make a video? I got my chicken for 69 cents a pound. Some of you have been asking, Tessie, can we see the procedure of canning? And I'm going to try to share with you the procedure of how I can. I'm using the all-standard Presto canner. Now this canner holds 7 quarts. This is relatively the cheapest way you can go with pressure canning. I am saving up money, hopefully by next year, to get an all-American canner. So why do I want an all-American canner? The all-American canners don't have a seal. So you don't have to be buying any kind of seals to replace. Also, it can can up to 14 quarts at one time. And I do a lot of canning. But the Presto canner is amazing. I've used it my whole married life. That's what I used to can. And I only had to replace the seal one time. So, for about $70 to $80, a Presto canner is great. Make sure you get the 21 quart and not the small 18 quart. The 21 quart gives you a little more room to have more pints. You can double stack it in that. If you have any questions on the Presto canner, please ask away. I am thinking of doing a live stream coming up here soon where I'm going to be canning live, step by step in live time. So let's get started on making some chicken broth. So it's really early in the morning. It's not even daylight yet, and I'm starting to work on my chicken. So I'll show you what I got. I got a bunch of packages of this chicken, and I only paid 69 cents a pound. So what we're going to do is we're going to make chicken broth today. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse my chicken. In the past I didn't rinse it, but a lot of you guys told me that I really should rinse my chicken. After I rinse my chicken, we're going to go put it in this large stock pot, and then we're going to fill it with water, and I'll show you what I do next. The chicken quarters are full of water, and this is what's going to give us a broth. So chicken quarters for 69 cents a pound. I paid less than $6 for all of this chicken. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add some ingredients to make a really rich stock. And I wish I had celery, but I don't. And that is what I love using too. But we use with what we got. So this is later going to be strained, so it's going to be a really nice rich broth. Then I'm going to add my own seasonings, which is garlic, oregano, and some dried parsley. I use a lot of seasonings. And there we go. Now the nice thing about this is going to cook for a couple hours. We're going to have it into a boil, and it's going to cook until the chicken is tender. Then what we do is we take the chicken and we take it off the bone and we separate it, and the broth we will strain, and then we will can that. You can can the broth without any meat in it for only 30 minutes for quarts. So I'll get back to you when everything is cooked and we can take the chicken out, and then we'll strain our broth. It's so simple. This is a really simple pressure canning recipe once more. It's going to be a pressure canning 101 video. I'm going to show you step by step what the canner looks like. I'm going to show you how you get ready to can. I'm going to show you everything. So broth is one of the easiest things that you can pressure can. So let's get the broth made, and then I'll show you how you can use a pressure canner. Magic of the camera, the chicken broth is done, and it took me about 2 hours because I really wanted to make sure it was cooked good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our chicken and out of our stock pot. Put the chicken in another bowl, that way we can take the meat off the bone when it's cool. Now you can do this for any kind of chicken, but if you have a chicken with the bone in it, that gives you a much better broth. Chicken breast, you can also do it this way, but you're not going to get the rich broth because, as people know, it's the bone that gives you the broth, that gives you such a good broth. I have my quart jars in my dishwasher to sanitize it. Make sure that we get as much of the meat out of this broth. And I'll get back to you and show you the next step. Basically, we're just going to fill our jars with the broth. The jars are sanitized and hot, and the broth is hot. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill all the jars, and I'll see how much it gave me. So, it gave me 6 quarts. And I paid less than $7. So we're going to have $1 per quart, plus we get the chicken meat. So we're going to go ahead and wipe off our rims. And we're going to go ahead and put a lid on our jars. And then I'll show you what I do next. What I do to some of my jars, I normally do this for all of them, is I get some of this chicken-based seasoning. This is MSG free. It's organic. It's not cheap. It's like $7, but it lasts a long time. And this just gives a little more of a seasoning to the broth. It's amazing stuff. It just gives it, it's all natural coloring in it, and it's amazing. It just kind of boosts your broth a little bit. So I just put a little bit in each one. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish putting my lids on, and then I'll show you how to can it. Oh, here is a Presto canner. The Presto canner consists of the kettle, it comes with a rack, and you have your lid. Now I only use the kind that has a dial. I do not use the weighted gauges. I don't know anything about that. I like to see it for myself what the dial is. I don't go for the jiggler. I don't know how that works. So if you're interested in that, you can research it on Google. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put some water in our pot. And how much water do we put in? We put in about 1/4 of the way up to your jars. Some water in. To start. And we're going to turn our gas to high. Now we're going to put our jars in. The rack is on the bottom. Now we're going to fit our jars. And it fits 7 quart, and I have 6 quarts. So that works out perfectly. Now we'll have to get some more water and make sure that we have the right amount of water in. So steam is what makes your pressure so high. And steam, you need water. So that's why we put water in. I need a little bit more. Alright, that's plenty. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put our lid on it and lock it into place. Now we do nothing, and it takes me about 45 minutes, because what we're going to do is we're building enough of pressure that we get a steady flow of steam that comes out of this hole. And I'll show you what happens when we have steam coming out of here. So now we have fresh, good steam. See all this steam? Now we can go ahead and we can put our weight on it. And now it's just going to take a little bit, and we're going to look for when this button rises. See how it's going? Oh, almost. There you go. Now your pressure is sealed. Now we have to wait until the gauge shows 10. When the gauge shows 10, then we start counting 30 minutes. So this may take 10 or 15 minutes. While this weight is on, it's very important that you work around the kitchen. You don't walk away, because we're going to have to adjust our heat on our stove. We're going to have to adjust it. We're going to have to make it lower and lower and lower. Now is the crucial part where we watch. And when it reaches the 10, we want to keep it between 10 and 12 pounds per pressure. So it will take about 5 to 10 minutes, and I'll show you when we get to the 10 pounds of pressure. here we are. We're at a little bit 6 pounds of pressure. So we have to wait till it gets to the 10, and you don't want to go below the 10. So once you reach the 10, you want to keep watching it because you don't want it to go below, because then you have to totally change your time. So when it gets to the 10, we will start counting, and all we have to do is count for 30 minutes because there is no meat in this broth. If I was to can meat in with this broth, then we would have to do it a full 90 minutes. But because there's no meat, this is an easy canning recipe. So I'll get back to you when it reaches the 10 and we start counting. Under $7, I got 6 quarts of the broth, and I got all of this chicken. Now I have a lot of canned chicken, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to freeze this chicken. So this was a really good and frugal way of canning your broth, having some chicken. For under $7, I got all of this food. So today I'm going to vacuum seal the chicken. So we're going to fill up the bags with the chicken, and I'm going to vacuum seal it. So we got 4 packs of chicken, which means 4 meals plus 7 quarts of broth for all under $7. You can't get much cheaper than that. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.